You've spent an hour washing, conditioning, applying all your favorite products. Your curls are looking promising, and then, here comes the diffuser. You start drying, and within minutes, those juicy curls unravel into a puffy, frizzy mess. Sound familiar? You're not alone. I've been there, and so have so many others. The truth is, it's not your hair's fault. There are just a few small mistakes that can completely change your results. Stick around because today you're going to learn how to avoid them and finally love your curls. Hi, I'm Courtney. I used to be a high school chemistry teacher, but now I spend my time helping people like you understand and love their curls. I know how overwhelming it can feel. 1 minute, your hair looks great. Next, it's a frizzy cloud. That was me too. But learning just a little curl science changed everything. I'm here to share what works, not theories, but real-life routines you can actually stick to and feel good about. Let me guess. You wash your hair, style it with care, and everything looks great. Until the diffuser comes out. Suddenly, your curls lose their shape. Frizz shows up. Your roots are still wet, while your ends feel dry and confused. And you think, what am I doing wrong? I've been there. So have thousands of others. The problem usually isn't your hair. It's just that no one ever taught you how to diffuse properly. There's a rhythm to it, a science even. And when you finally get it right, diffusing becomes something you actually enjoy. You stop dreading wash day and start looking forward to it. That's what we're here for today. Let's fix it together. Let's talk about the number one mistake I see all the time, starting to diffuse when your hair is still soaking wet. Now I get it. You're in a rush, your hair looks amazing fresh out of the shower, and you just want to lock it all in. But diving into diffusing with soaking wet hair? That's a recipe for frustration. When your hair is dripping wet, your dryer is doing double duty. It's not just setting your curls, it's also trying to remove all that excess water. That means longer drying time, more heat exposure, and a much higher chance of your curls losing their shape. I've been there. I'd spend what felt like forever drying my hair, only to end up with flat roots and frizzy ends. And I'd be left wondering what went wrong. Here's what changed everything for me: MicroPlopping. It's exactly what it sounds like. A mini version of plopping, using a soft t-shirt or microfiber towel to gently squeeze the extra water out of your curls right after styling. Not rub, not wring, just a light upward scrunch. And don't worry about disturbing your curl pattern. If you're gentle, your clumps will stay intact. I started doing this and immediately noticed a huge difference. Drying time was cut in half. My curls had way more volume. And the frizz? It disappeared. My product stayed in my hair instead of soaking into a towel, and I didn't have to hover under the dryer for an hour. Think of MicroPlopping like setting your foundation. If you try to paint on a canvas that's soaked, the colors run and everything gets messy. But if you prep the canvas properly, everything stays where it should. Same with your curls. Now, you might be nervous about messing up the products you just applied. That was my fear too. But the key is using a soft cloth and being intentional. A couple of gentle scrunches and you're good to go. I use a smooth cotton t-shirt most days. It's absorbent without stealing all my product. I keep one in my bathroom just for this purpose. Once I started MicroPlopping, it made the whole process feel more efficient and way less frustrating. It gave me back control over how my curls looked, without needing to add more product or start over. So if diffusing feels like a chore or you're constantly battling uneven results, this is where I'd start. Get some of that water out first. Help your dryer help you. Grab your t-shirt. Flip your head forward. Gently scrunch from ends to roots. Then you're ready to diffuse. It's a small change that makes a massive difference. I promise your curls will thank you. Alright, let's talk about another major misstep when diffusing your curls. Jumping straight into Pixie Diffusing. Now, if you're wondering what that even means, it's when you scoop up your curls into the diffuser bowl and hold it close to your scalp. Sounds effective, right? Well, not if you do it too soon. Here's the thing. Your ends, the tips of your hair, are the oldest, most delicate parts. They've been through the most. So blasting them with heat before the rest of your hair has even started to dry? Not doing them any favors. What usually happens is they dry out way too fast. They lose their shape, get frizzy, and start to separate. Meanwhile, your roots and middles are still dripping. I used to make this mistake every single wash day. I'd flip my head upside down, jam the diffuser under there, and hope for the best. But 9 times out of 10, my ends would come out crunchy, dry, and weirdly straight while the top half of my hair stayed soggy. It was a mess. And I couldn't figure out why the tutorial girls looked amazing while I looked like I just walked through a wind tunnel. Then I learned about hover diffusing. This was a total game changer. Instead of diving right into contact, you start by hovering the diffuser around your head. You hold the dryer a few inches away and focus on drying the roots and mid-lengths first. It's a gentler start. It gives your curls time to set a foundation. And best of all, it keeps your ends protected until they're ready. Sometimes I even create a little towel hammock to hold my curls while I hover. It keeps the ends grouped and damp while I move the heat where it's actually needed first. It might look a little funny, but it works. My ends stay hydrated, my roots dry faster, and my overall curl shape is way more consistent. The lesson here? Timing is everything. You don't need to give up pixie diffusing completely. Just wait until your hair is about halfway dry. That's when it's strong enough to be handled a little more closely. At that point, you can scoop those curls and get more volume without sacrificing the integrity of your curl pattern. So next time you reach for that diffuser, pause for a second. Ask yourself, are my ends ready for this? If not, hover first. Focus on your roots. Let the ends chill. Your curls will come out looking healthier, springier, and way more defined. This one small shift completely changed my wash days. I went from fried ends and uneven drying to curls that actually matched top to bottom. And the best part? I stopped dreading diffusing. Now it's a part of my routine I look forward to. Let's bust one of the biggest myths in the curly hair world. Using low heat and low speed is the only safe way to diffuse. I used to believe this too. I thought if I kept the settings low, I'd be protecting my curls from heat damage. So I'd sit there with the dryer on the lowest setting, watching my curls slowly deflate while my roots stayed soaking wet. Here's what I learned. Low heat and low speed aren't wrong, but they're not always right either. It depends on how you diffuse. If you're hovering, diffusing, and giving your curls a little space, then yes, higher speed and heat can actually work in your favor. When I switched to high heat and high speed, while keeping the diffuser a few inches away, everything changed. My drying time got cut nearly in half. My curls clumped and held together better. And I didn't experience any more frizz than usual. I had less because I wasn't spending so long moving air around that wasn't doing anything. Think about it this way. The longer you're diffusing, the more time your hair has to move, shift, and potentially frizz. A short, strategic blast of warm air, done carefully, can be way more effective than an hour of low airflow. Of course, this isn't about putting the diffuser right up against your head and blasting it on full power. That's how you get crispy ends and hot spots. But if you hover, you create a gentle, even warmth that sets your curls without frying them. Let's not forget that curls actually benefit from heat when used properly. Heat helps encourage curl formation. It helps your products set. And it gives volume when applied to the roots with intention. Once I made this switch, I started looking forward to diffusing. No more endless drying. No more limp curls. And no more skipping wash days just to avoid the hour-long dry time. Now I can do it in 15 minutes flat, with better results. If you're nervous to try this, start slow. Keep the heat high but the distance safe. Focus on hover diffusing for the first few minutes, then lower the speed or temperature if you feel more comfortable. But don't be afraid to experiment. The truth is, there's no one-size-fits-all approach to curls. What works for someone else may not work for you. But if low heat and low speed have been giving you flat roots and never-ending drying sessions, it might be time to try something new. So go ahead. Bump up that dial. Hover with purpose. Respect your curls, but don't baby them too much. They're stronger than you think. And when you find the right balance, you'll see results that speak for themselves. Alright, let's talk about something I used to do all the time, moving the diffuser way too much while drying. It sounds innocent, right? You just want to make sure all your curls get some attention. But constantly shifting the diffuser from one spot to another is actually one of the fastest ways to ruin your curl pattern. When you move the dryer too often, you're not giving your curls enough time to set. You're interrupting the cast before it has a chance to form. And that means your curls start to separate. You get frizz. You lose definition. and your hair ends up looking way puffier than it should. I remember doing this on autopilot: flip to the left, blast some heat. Flip to the right, more heat. Back to the front, then the back again. I thought I was being thorough, but all I was doing was stirring up frizz and stopping my curls from settling into their natural shape. What made the biggest difference for me was practicing patience. I started holding the diffuser in one place for at least 30 seconds, sometimes even a full minute. And guess what? My curls stayed together. The cast formed more evenly, and my roots didn't end up tangled or undefined. Think of it like baking cookies. If you keep opening the oven door every few minutes, the heat escapes and nothing sets properly. But if you leave them alone and give them time, everything bakes up just right. Same with your curls, they need space to set. I know it can feel awkward at first. You might be tempted to move the dryer around just to do something. But sometimes the best thing you can do is stay still. Let the heat do its job. Let your curls take shape. Here's a trick that helped me stay focused. I'd listen to a podcast or audiobook while diffusing. Instead of counting seconds, I'd stay still until a sentence or paragraph finished. It kept me grounded and gave my curls enough time to form properly. And when it was time to move to a new section, I'd turn off the dryer first. Scoop the curls gently, reposition, then turn it back on. That way I wasn't blasting air while flipping my hair around. That one shift alone cut down my frizz by a ton. If you've been struggling with inconsistent results, one side perfect, the other side a disaster, this might be the culprit. Your curls aren't getting the time they need to bake. They're being rushed and it shows. So give your curls what they're asking for: patience, stillness, a little space. Because the more you respect their process, the more they'll show up for you in return. Trust me on this one. Sometimes less movement equals way more beauty. Let's talk about one of the sneakiest mistakes that can completely undo your curl routine. Diffusing your hair until it's bone dry. I get it. You think, if I just dry it all the way, I won't have to deal with wet spots or waiting around. But diffusing to 100%? That's where things start falling apart. When you keep diffusing past that sweet spot, you risk breaking the cast too early. That gel or mousse you put in to hold your curls, it needs a little time to harden and do its thing. If you dry too much, you're not just setting the curls, you're over-baking them. That's when the frizz shows up. The definition weakens, and your curls start to look stretched out or fluffy in the worst way. I used to do this every single time. I'd stand there for half an hour, determined to get my hair done. But I didn't realize I was undoing all the work I had done in the shower. The solution was so simple: stop at about 80 to 90% dry. How do you know when that is? It takes some practice. I usually check by gently touching my curls. If they feel mostly dry but a little cool or damp underneath, I'm good. The rest can air dry while I go about my day. What changed when I started doing this? Everything. My curls held their shape longer. They looked shinier and more bouncy. And best of all, I wasn't walking around with stiff, over-diffused hair that felt like straw. Think of it like cooking pasta. You don't wait until it's completely hard and brittle. You stop at al dente just right. Your curls are the same way. Letting them finish drying naturally in the cast allows the shape to set gently and evenly. And here's the bonus. When you stop early, you give your hair a break from all that heat and airflow. It's less stress on your strands, and over time, your curls stay healthier. I often use that time to do something else. Make a cup of tea, clean up my counter, or even just relax. By the time I circle back, the cast is ready to scrunch out, and my curls look way more polished. So here's your takeaway. Don't wait for your hair to feel like hay. Stop while it still feels soft, maybe a tiny bit damp. Let the air finish the job. Your curls will thank you for it. And trust me, once you see the difference in how your curls behave when you don't overdry, you'll never go back to full blast diffusing again. Less heat, less time, better curls. That's the win we all want. Sometimes, doing less is exactly what your hair needs. The difference is real, and it adds up wash after wash. Try it once, and you'll wonder why you ever did it differently. Let's talk about tools for a second. A lot of people think you need to spend a ton of money to get great curls. They see influencers using fancy dryers that cost hundreds of dollars, and they feel like they're missing out. But here's the truth. Good technique beats fancy tools every time. I'll be honest. I used to think I needed the Dyson. Everyone online raved about it. I saved up, bought one, and yes, it's amazing. It's lightweight, powerful, and dries your hair fast. But before that, I was using a cheap $20 dryer from Walmart. And you know what? I still got great results. Because the real secret isn't in the dryer. It's in how you use it. If you know how to hover diffuse, how to protect your ends, how to dry in stages, and not overdo it, you can use just about any diffuser and still walk away with amazing curls. That old dryer didn't have a fancy digital display or ionized airflow, but it came with a diffuser attachment, and that was enough. I learned to be patient. I learned how to listen to my hair. And more importantly, I learned that expensive doesn't always mean better. Sometimes when you invest too much in the tool, you stop paying attention to the process. You rely on the gadget to do the work instead of really understanding what your curls need. And honestly, the dryer isn't what's creating your curls. It's just helping set them. Let me tell you about my friend Ashley. She's got tight, springy curls and was convinced she needed the latest high-tech dryer. She borrowed my Dyson, tried it for a week, and you know what she told me? She liked her old Conair better. It took a little longer, sure, but she felt more in control. Her curls looked just as good, if not better, because she was being more mindful of her routine. So if you're watching this and feeling discouraged because you don't have the right tools, take a deep breath. You're not behind. You're not doing it wrong. You just need to get a little creative with what you already have. Focus on technique. Practice hovering diffusing. Use a microfiber towel or cotton t-shirt to reduce frizz. Try sectioning your hair for even drying. These habits make way more of a difference than the brand name on your dryer. And if you are looking to upgrade eventually, great. But don't wait for perfect equipment to start learning. Start with what you've got. The results will come when your process is strong. At the end of the day, curls don't care about price tags. They care about care. Show them consistency, patience, and smart technique, and they'll reward you, no matter what tool is in your hand. Now let's touch on something that often gets overlooked. Your mindset while diffusing. Believe it or not, how you feel during the process can impact your results more than you think. Diffusing your hair isn't just about drying curls. It's about patience, presence, and building a rhythm with your routine. We live in a world that pushes us to rush through everything. So when it comes time to diffuse, you might be tempted to speed it up, move the dryer too fast, or skip steps just to get it done. But curls don't respond well to being rushed. They thrive with care and intention. That's why I always suggest turning diffusing into a little ritual. Put on your favorite playlist or a good audiobook. Stand in front of the mirror, breathe, and take your time. Let this be a moment for you, not just something on your to-do list. When you're calm and consistent, your movements become more gentle. You're less likely to grab at your curls or shake them loose. You begin to treat your hair like something you care for, not something you have to fight with. One of my viewers, Carla, told me she used to dread wash day. Felt like a chore. But then she started using diffusing time as a moment of self-care. She lights a candle, plays jazz, and lets the process slow her down. Now, not only do her curls look better, but she also says she feels more grounded every time she styles her hair. And it makes sense. Think about it. When you're rushed or distracted, you make more mistakes. You hover too far or maybe too close. You forgot to check for damp roots or overdry the ends. But when you're in a steady mindset, everything flows better. So yes, technique matters. Tools help. But your mindset, the way you show up for your curls, matters just as much. When you shift from, I have to get through this, to I get to enjoy this, it becomes a totally different experience. Some people meditate. Some journal. For us curlies, diffusing can be that pause. That moment of care. It's a simple act, but when you do it with intention, it becomes powerful. So next time you diffuse, try slowing down. Notice how your curls react. Notice how you feel afterward. You might be surprised at the difference it makes. Remember, this isn't just about hair. It's about how you treat yourself in the small moments. And diffusing is one of those small moments that can quietly teach you presence, patience, and pride in the way you care for yourself. So go ahead. Light that candle, press play on that audiobook, and let this time be yours. Your curls deserve it. And honestly, so do you. Here's the moment that really changed how I saw diffusing. I used to believe that if I just followed the steps, plop, hover, pixie, I'd get perfect curls. But one day, in a rush, I skipped a few things. My roots were still damp, I diffused too long, And my curls? A frizzy mess. That day, I realized something. Diffusing is less about steps and more about timing and awareness. It's about knowing when to stop, when to shift, and when to just let your hair breathe. Once I started diffusing until my hair was about 80 to 90% dry, then letting it finish naturally in the curler, everything changed. Less frizz, more definition. And the best part? I stopped dreading wash day. That shift in understanding, that balance between technique and intuition, that was my real breakthrough. And I hope this moment helps you rethink how you approach your own routine too. So now we've come full circle. We've talked about the little habits, the silent mistakes, and the everyday choices that shape how your hair looks and feels. But more than anything, I hope you walk away from this with one message. Your hair doesn't define your worth, but it can reflect your care. When you understand your hair, whether it's fine, thinning, or just different from how it used to be, you begin to work with it instead of against it. And in that process, something is empowering. You stop chasing the perfect look and start building a relationship with your reflection. One based on grace, intention, and confidence. That's not just styling. That's self-respect. If today's video helped you feel more confident about your curls, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And hey, leave a comment below telling me what your biggest diffusing mistake used to be. I'd love to hear your story. Also, if you have a friend who's struggling with their curly routine, share this video with them. Let's grow this community one curl at a time. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you next time.